Welcome to Arcades, the Strategist. Hope you're excited for some defenders and some walls. We have a bunch of walls coming down. As far as our opening hand goes, yeah, do we want to see if we can't get into something that gives us a little bit more action? I guess I like Sunscape Familiar on this one. Let's go ahead and mulligan. I'd like to have some sort of either ramp or some sort of artifact. I mean, Worn Power Stone's nice, but yeah, we'll make this work. Gate Creeper Vine, yeah, we'll keep on this one. We got some protection from Arcades. Path to Exile, definitely put that on top. Yeah, when you're playing against Oloro, they've got, access to Path to Exile and stuff like that, and this deck absolutely needs Arcades on the battlefield to even get anything going, so the thought of trying to get Arcades out with only 2 lanes in the hand and no protection was, didn't really sound that fun. So let's go ahead and get down Arid Mesa, and then anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. We are playing Arcades, the Strategist. Flying in Vigilance. Whenever a creature with Defender enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. Then each creature you control with Defender assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power, and can attack as though it did not have Defender. Let's see what our opponent's going to lead off with. Lead off with their very own Signet. So let's go and crack Arid Mesa in response to that one. And we'll see exactly what we're going to grab. We do have access to double green off Flooded Grove. And we also do have Gate Creeper Vine coming down pretty soon. So let's just go and do this. Let's go and get this popped out just a little bit bigger. Let's just go ahead and grab a Prairie Stream. Have that enter the battlefield tap. Yeah, that's fine. There we go. And then let them get down Signet, and then we'll be able to get down Swiftfoot Boots and kind of go from there. Drawn to Wall of Omens. Okay. Let's get down Flooded Grove. Let's go for Lightning Greaves. It's going to be 1-2. And then anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. So next turn, we can go for Gate Creeper Vine. Typically, one of the things that you definitely want to do with Arcades is hold on to your defenders, or at least as long as possible. And actually, let's go and cover Oloro real quick before we start jumping into the deck. So we're playing against Oloro. At the beginning of your upkeep, you gain 2 life. Whenever you gain life, you may pay 1. If you do, draw a card. Each opponent loses 1 life. Then at the beginning of your upkeep, if Oloro is in the command zone, you gain 2 life. And our opponent's going to get down a Bitter Blossom. Which kind of complicates things just a little bit. Typically don't have that crazy of a board state, or at least Trample's a really hard thing for us to get, but hopefully if we can find Crater Hoof, we can get that going. Let's get down Plains, and yeah, at this point I think we're just going to go and hold on right now. We got 3 defenders. We'll see if this is going to be good for Arcades next turn. Yeah, I like that. We're just going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. But what I was saying earlier is that with Arcades, typically most of the time you want to get down Arcades and hold on to your defenders as long as possible. That way you can start casting them, getting a little bit of extra card advantage by getting some card draw with Arcades on the battlefield. Now, there are certain times where, stuff like Wall of Omens and Gate Creeper Vine, it's nice to get them down early to get that card draw going. But if you can help it, it's always nice to get on Arcades and kind of start casting some stuff from there. All right, so our opponent did pass the turn with a ton of open mana and 4 cards in the hand. Let's do this. Let's go and get down Plains. Let's see if we can't kind of maybe draw out a counter spell or something like that. Let's go and tap out. Do we anything else we need? We can actually tap blue to add blue-green off of this one. That way we can still go and go for Gate Creeper Vine if we want to. Yeah, I think I like that. Let's go and tap up for Tetsuko. And we want to use the blue mana. There we go. I'll make sure we leave up that green mana so we can go for Gate Creeper Vine. So we're going to go get down Tetsuko, see if this is good or not. Let's go and put the Lightning Greaves onto Tetsuko once again to kind of see if we can't draw out some sort of spot removal from our opponent. Let's go and go for a Gate Creeper Vine. We do have Shield Sphere in the hand, so it's going to allow us to get into another card draw. And at least with Gate Creeper, it's going to allow us to make sure that we make the land drop, which desperately want to make sure we do that. Yes, we're going to use that ability. And you know what? Let's go and grab a Forest off of this one. Forest in the hand. And then we've already made our land drop. Anything else? Let's go and push in for 1. Tetsuko will be unblockable. And actually, I was mentioning earlier, with the opponent getting down Bitter Blossom, it's going to be hard for us to kind of push past a ton of tokens. But with Tetsuko on the battlefield, it's almost like we do have Trample. We're going to be able to push past on this one. Okay, so opponent's going to have the Bitter Blossom trigger. And actually, the promo of it's very interesting. It's I like the colors on it, but it's kind of a little hard to decipher what's going on in there. But overall, pretty good card. Now, as far as what we've got going on, we'll probably end up tapping out for Arcades next turn. I mean, we need to get some sort of action going. I mean, if we want to get a clock going, we could just swing in with Gate Creeper. Yeah, let's just go and get down Command Tower. Let's see if this is good or not. I'm okay with this. Let's go and tap out for blue. That's going to be blue-green off the filter mana. Actually, let's sequence it this way. Let's go for blue. That's going to be blue-green off this. There we go. That way we can leave up Command Tower. Then 1-2. Let's go and tap out for Arcades. If they've got a counter spell, they've got it. We'll be able to make the land drop. Let's shift Lightning Greaves over onto Arcades and keep our fingers crossed that this is good. I guess technically we could have cast Shield Sphere, but either way, even if we do cast Shield Sphere, they're going to be able to go for that. So our opponent's going to go for Mortified, destroy target creature or enchantment. Yeah, that's fine. What we can do, actually, if we want to, is we can actually path to exile our own commander. That way we get a land onto the battlefield, and it'll kind of give that good, a better cost for us. We could also go for that next turn. It won't really matter. Yeah, let's just go and hold on to path to exile. So it's going to send Arcades back to the command zone, and then anything else. Let's go and push in for 1 with Tetsuko. Yeah, that's fine. They've got 3 cards in the hand. Hopefully we can kind of outrace them on this one. Swinging for 1, knock them down to, we're very slowly chipping away at that Oloro 2 life per turn. Knock them down to 36, and we're going to kick it back over there. But yeah, as far as I was mentioning with this deck, this is definitely one of those decks that needs Arcady on the battlefield really, really bad. It's almost like Necasaur or something like Narset. You know, the deck can function without the commander on the battlefield, but this is a primarily commander-focused deck, you know, even though, you know, stuff like Muldrotha, you know, that's a really fun commander to play, and when she's on the battlefield, it really, really shines. But there's sometimes where we can't get her down, or commander tax gets up, and, you know, we're basically just kind of building a good stuff deck, just kind of a backup plan. Yeah, let's go and see if they have some more removal. Let's go and test it out. So we're looking at blue, green, double white, and then 2 more. Now, Congregation at Dawn allows us to do some pretty good stuff. It's going to shift the Lightning Greaves over on Arcades. Keep our fingers crossed they don't have another piece of them. If they do, they've got it. Okay, Snapcaster Mage on Mortify, that's fine. We can make that work. So they're going to go for that. Now, with Congregation at Dawn, we can grab a Reducer. We do have a Reducer wall in our deck that's going to give us a reduced cost off of Arcades. And so we can go for that one to hopefully, now that we've gotten this commander tax kind of gone up pretty big, hopefully we can get that reduced cost down and then kind of go from there. Let's go and push in with Tetsuko for another one. Knock them back down to 36. And then we'll go ahead and pass the turn to our opponent. Now, they do only have 2 cards in the hand. So at this point right now, hopefully they've exhausted most of their stuff they've got going on. If we need to, we can actually go for Wall of Omens next turn. I know we're trying to hold on to it as long as possible, but if we need to go for Wall of Omens, we can. Now, with Congregation at Dawn, typically there is a way to win with this deck with an infinite combo. You kind of need a few pieces on the battlefield, but hopefully maybe we can kind of draw into that one. But with Congregation at Dawn, typically that's what we're going to use it for, so we may end up using it just simply more in kind of a utility capacity, but we'll see what's going to happen. All right, we got the whole crew swinging in. We got 3 fairies coming in, and then Snapcasters. So it's going to be 5 coming across, putting us down to 22. That's perfectly fine. We do need to find some defenders with reach, kind of stop some of these fairy tokens. That would be nice, but hopefully we can outrace some of these tokens. Okay, drawn to Seaside Citadel. Let's go and have that come into play tapped. Let's go ahead and go for... Do we have Wall of Omens to draw a card? Because this is going to be Arcades. It's going to be next turn. It's going to be 8 total mana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm really tempted to go for Path to Exile and then maybe set up something with a Congregation at Dawn. That way we can cast something for free and start getting some of these creatures down while they only have 1 card in the hand. You know what? Let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and go for Path to Exile on Gatecreeper Vine. I want to make sure we're going to be online for Arcades next turn. That way we can get the... yes, we're going to use that ability. Let's go ahead and go for Island. We'll have that come into play. Tapped, and then that still puts us online for Congregation at Dawn if we want to kind of set up the top part of our library. So let's go and do that. Let's go and pass the turn to our opponent. We're going to leave up Tetsuko on this one. That way we can try and keep Snapcaster in check from our opponent, and then we'll see if we end up going for this Congregation at Dawn. Now, one of the good things about being able to draw cards once your defenders enter the battlefield is you have stuff like Shield Sphere. So with Congregation at Dawn, we can draw a card for the turn, then we can go for Shield Sphere to draw an additional card on top. So you can kind of sequence certain stuff like that to where you can get stuff rolling. Opponent's going to tap out for Oloro, okay. It's going to Oloro enter the battlefield, and whenever they gain life, you may pay 2. Yeah, at the beginning, whenever you gain life, pay 1, draw a card, your opponent loses 1 life. All right, so we've got 4 Fairy Rogue swinging across, which is going to put us down to 18 in Snapcaster Mage. Do you want to chump block on Snapcaster with Tetsuko? Okay, I'm about to say Tetsuko is going to pull back on this one. We'll still go and chump block to stop that 1 from coming across. And they're going to go and tap out a little bit extra mana into the gain of life off of that one. Because either way they're going to gain life, we're just saving at least 1 life point total. And let's go and tap out for Congregation at Dawn. It's going to be double green. And they're going to tap out for 1 white. And let's get this popped out just a little bit bigger. And let's go ahead and grab some of our combo pieces. You know, we do have to get lucky in actually drawing into Intruder Alarm. But if we're going to have these combo pieces set up, or we can set up some really good card draw, I'd like to go for that. So let's do this. Let's go Wall of Kelp, let's go Axebane Guardian, and let's grab something that has some sort of resistance against our opponent. Let's go and grab Wall of Denial. I think I like that. So let's go and put Axebane Guardian on top, let's go and put Wall of Kelp on top, and we'll put that Wall of Denial on top. Okay, there we go. And pass the turn back over to us with Arcades. So we'll draw into not Arcane Denial, but Wall of Denial on top of our library, and they'll be able to hopefully draw an additional card. Let's see if our opponent maybe somehow got into another counter spell. Let's go and tap out for Arcades, and we'll try to get the Swiftfoot Boots onto Arcades as quickly as possible. Go for that activation. Okay, we're safe. Let's go and cast Shield Sphere. That way we can draw into an additional card, and then we'll see what else we get going on. All right, draw into Wall of Kelp, and then anything else we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. Now, hopefully if we can keep Arcades sticking around on the battlefield, we're able to kind of stop some of these Fairy Rogues from coming across. That's going to allow us to at least kind of preserve a little bit of our life total. The only downside is our opponents kind of run out of things to do in their hand. They only have 2 cards in their hand. And now with the Oloro on the battlefield, they're going to be able to pay that mana to draw a card and make us lose a life. So we're going to have to start casting some of our stuff next turn. We'll definitely be online for Wall of Kelp, Wall of Denial. We're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If we can help it, really like to get down Wall of Omens. It's going to enter the battlefield and allow us to draw a card in addition to Arcades Trigger, which is going to allow us to kind of dig a little bit deeper. Now with the combo with Intruder Alarm that I was talking about earlier with Wall of Kelp. So we have Wall of Kelp and Axebane Guardian. I'm really excited about this combo, so I try not to explain it in every single video. But we get Wall of Kelp down, we get Axebane Guardian. So Wall of Kelp has the 2 blue activation to put a wall token onto the battlefield. Axebane Guardian has add X mana to your mana pool, where X is the number of creatures you control with Defender. Now, when you have Intruder Alarm on the battlefield, you go for the Wall of Kelp activation. That plant token enters the battlefield and untap your creatures. That untaps Axebane Guardian, add more mana to your mana pool. And so basically it allows you to kind of very slowly or very quickly get infinite creatures and infinite mana on the battlefield, which is always a lot of fun. All right, let's go and tap out for Wall of Denial. Yeah, I think I'm okay with that one. If this sticks, it's good. If not, then we'll just go and not pass the turn, but at least if they counter it, we'll be online for Wall of Omens. All right, we have Wall of Denial. Let's see if we can't hit the land drop for the top. Wall of Roots. Let's go for Wall of Omens. So we're going to draw an additional card, and we'll have that Wall of Omens trigger. Draw into Bonded Fetch. Okay, let's get down Misty, and let's do this. Let's go for Wall of Kelp. Let's go and crack Misty. Hopefully we're not overextending into some sort of board wipe, but we need to start digging through our library as quickly as possible. Let's go and grab Tropical Island off of this one. Let's go and go for double blue. Yeah, I like that. Then we can get down Wall of Roots and draw an additional card. But you can see how explosive it can be sometimes. You know, we are playing against a control deck, especially Esper, so we have to watch out for that. But it feels really good being able to cast all of these cards and drawing into a bunch of cards. It's going to tap out on 1 more green color. Get that down, and then anything else, I think we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. So right now, at this point right now, we can attack in with Shield Sphere, and it will be unblockable. So at least we do have some sort of clock against our opponent. And let's go ahead and go for that. That's going to be Tetsuko and Shield Sphere. So we're going to be able to push in past the Fairy Rogues. That's going to be at least 7 total points of damage coming across, putting them down to 38. Okay, then anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. But yeah, so basically what I was explaining earlier, we get to add that mana to our mana pool. You can see how many defenders we have on the battlefield. So I was looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the fact that Wall of Kelp keeps adding more defenders to your mana pool just makes it really fun. And then plus when you have Arcades on the battlefield, you end up drawing out your entire deck. So that puts you in a spot where you can just tap out for a really big Crater Hoof if you want to, or you can do all sorts of shenanigans. But it's just kind of one of those... I typically don't run a lot of combos in Commander, but whenever I came across the Wall of Kelp combo, I was like, yes, this is wonderful. We have to do this. This is something that needs to get done. So, but as far as next turn goes, we're definitely going to get down Axebane Guardian. That way, we need to make sure that Axebane Guardian doesn't have summoning sickness. So we can get down Axebane Guardian and then really kind of start going for these activations. One of the cool things about running a deck with a ton of defenders is you're kind of stuck with this weird assortment of creatures. And so you can tell we've got Shield Sphere out here. You know, you've got some good stuff like Wall of Omens. Then you also have some really unique stuff like Homunculus, like Bonded Fetch. So it's Defender with haste, draw a card, then discard a card. So it actually kind of works, you know, a 3 mana 0/2 is not the best in the world to swing into attack, but next turn with Tetsuko on the battlefield, it's going to allow us to push in for 2. And then also, you know, unless they get into some sort of board wipe this turn, we're basically unblockable. We're looking at about 8. That's going to be 12. That's going to be 20. It's going to be 26 and then in the neighborhood of about 29. So we'll be able to really kind of chip away at our opponent's life total. We do have to watch out for some sort of swing back from a lot of these fairy rogues. But thankfully with Bitter Blossom on the battlefield, that is also kind of chipping away at our opponent's life total just a little bit. But we'll see exactly what we draw into and how we want to sequence this particular turn. All right, so we draw into Windswept Heath. Let's go and get down to Windswept Heath. Let's go and crack Windswept Heath. Let's go and grab another one of our dual sources, have that come into play, and then we'll go for Bonded Fetch. That way, if we want to, we can draw into an additional card. Let's go for Bonded Fetch. It's going to be 1, 2, 3. Draw into Brushland. Now, at this point right now, we do have a couple different ways to kind of protect our board state. That would be really nice if we could draw into something like that. Something like Teferi's Protection, because if we get hit by a board wipe, it is not looking good. So hopefully we can get lucky with some of these draws off our Arcades to draw into something. Stalwart Shield Bearers, okay. Let's go and tap that down because that actually might, we'll check it out, but that might actually kind of help us push past on this one. We'll see what else that's going to do though. Draw into Thraben Gargoyle, okay. And I think that might be lethal. Let's kind of do a quick check real quick. So they can block on Arcades. We're looking at Tetsuko for 1. That's going to be 9. That's going to be 19. That's going to be 25. That's going to be 30. That's going to be 37. And that's going to be 41. I think that's going to be just enough. We'll see if our opponent has any sort of answer on this one, but at least we're going to go and swing in for lethal. That Star Wars Shield Bearers really kind of help push our, at least kind of push the shields in our particular favor. Let's go and push in with Tetsuko. Let's go Shield Sphere, Wall of Denial, Wall of Omens, Wall of Kelp, Wall of Roots, and then Bonded Fetch. Yeah, I think that should be lethal unless they have some sort of spot removal. They do have 3 cards in the hand, so we'll see what else they have to show for it, but at least if we have lethal on the board, we're definitely going to go and swing in for it. Okay, so we knock our opponent down to 22. We get it done with these Stalwart Shield Bearers. You can see how explosive Arcades can be sometimes. We have these late games to where we start churning through our deck, casting a lot of these different defenders. And then some of the times, you just need like a 1-mana defender just to get that card draw going. And then you get down something like Stalwart Shield Bearers, which kind of acts as a wall lord, and it's going to allow you to kind of go and close the game out from there. So we knock them all the way down to -2. I cannot express how good Tetsuko is in an Arcades deck. This is pretty much an auto include no matter what sort of build you go for. It just makes it to where you can swing in unanswered and really kind of take down somebody like Oloro who's getting in some really nice card draw. So anyways, if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.